memorable event. Every week, all members of the family were expected, for better or worse, to sit and enjoy Grandma Fanny's fantastic spread, which was her singular form of mothering. No matter how tough times were, or how cruelly they treated one another, as long as everyone was present and there was an abundance of food, Fanny felt the family was all right. Sunday brunch at the Epsteins was a kind of a battlefield. My four aunts, Helen, Esther, Frida, who called herself Fritzy, and baby Beverly, whom everyone called a mistake because she was born 8 years after her older sister, they were always present. The sisters, as I always thought of them, always took their mother's side against Grandpa Morris, who could do no right, whether forgetting the whitefish or losing an entire day's pay in a pinochle game. There was always something to criticize. If the weekly gathering at Grandma and Grandpa's brick house on Grantwood Avenue was a combat zone, then my mother was its biggest offensive. Sitting next to her, my baby brother Ronnie and my dad at the big dining room table, I could see the sisters jealously appraising the charming dress and matching coat Mom had sewn for herself from a Vogue pattern. Wherever she was, my mother, a small, dark beauty, always made sure all eyes were on her. Everywhere we went, the butcher, the baker, the grocer, people fussed over her, not only because she was so pretty, but also flirtatious and eager to be seen. At the market, I noticed how the owner, Mr. Friedman, would look her up and down while personally fulfilling her request for large pearl tapioca. She made the most of her feminine powers and charm, but it wasn't just men who found Mother appealing. She also had tons of friends like Bea Sanson, who looked up to her, copying her daring style and recipes, and the phone never seemed to stop ringing in our house, and it was mostly for Mother. My mom's charisma was just one aspect to the trouble between her and the sisters. There was also the matter of Grandpa Morris. The man her sisters considered a bum was nothing short of a prince to my mother, and she was naturally his favorite. A very tight pair. Both were olive-skinned, attractive, always pulled together. At the table, Grandpa wore a snappy bow tie, white linen shirt, and pleated trousers, as if he were a Southern gentleman rather than a Midwestern fruiterer. They both also loved gambling. Grandpa played pinochle and poker. Mother and her circle played mahjong and danced. She was her father's daughter, Grandpa would say to Mother, which galled not only the sisters, but also Fanny. Their criticisms only strengthened the bond between my grandfather and Mother, and they frequently defended each other to the rest of the family. Case in point. "Why are you wearing a tie?" Grandma Fanny said to Grandpa Morris. "It's brunch." "Leave him alone, Ma," my mother responded sharply to her mother before training her big, lovely smile on her father. "I think he looks very handsome." The sisters pounced on my mother in retaliation. Ronnie and I put our heads so close to our soup bowls that we nearly dove in. "You didn't have enough money to add buttons, Gracie?" said Fritzy, talking about my mother's swing coat. "How do you close the thing?" The sisters, my aunts, snickered, but Mother was undeterred. "There isn't meant to be a fastening. It's the style. I made it from the same pattern Carol Lombard wore in Fools for Scandal." "Listen to her," Aunt Fritzy said, shaking her fork in my mother's direction. "Now she thinks she's a blonde movie star." My aunts never held back their hostility toward the sister they had nicknamed the Schwarze Jabbe, Black Frog, because she had darker skin than the rest of them. Instead, they laughed at her expense over their barley soup, in the open war between my mother